How often is it that people try to sell stolen cars?
Oh, it's not too much of that, honestly, at least at these collector auctions, because
Yeah.
they do a lot of due diligence and things. And also on the collector cars, they have experts that come in, at least at Barrett-Jackson and some of these things. And there's an expert for Mopars. His name is Dave Weiss, and he comes in and he'll look at, say, my Hemi Superbird when I sold it a few years ago, and he'll check not just the VIN number and the engine number and all that stuff, but he's going to check all the hidden places and make sure all the stuff lines up, because you can VIN swap, especially on the collector cars.
Yeah.
You just cut it off and put another one on. You can do all these things. And a lot of people will do this because, like there's so many Hemi Superbirds that exist. So if you can find one that was crashed and the VIN no longer exists, but then you take one and like swap the VINs and things. So there was shady stuff that went on years ago. But now with these panel of experts coming in, and that's one of the great things about Barrett-Jackson and some of these other auctions, there's a lot more due diligence as far as really getting into and inspecting. Like he literally crawled in the trunk of my car and was looking up at the parcel shelf and making sure that that number matched what Hemi Superbird was and everything. So it's very fascinating in that sense to see that versus, buying online, and there's not that level of
Yeah.
inspection usually.
So what's the chance right now that you're driving a stolen car?
Oh, I mean, pretty low at this point. It's really sad with older cars when you buy them and you hear the stories of somebody buying this car that's fresh restored, and then they go and register it in a different state, and it comes back as stolen when they inspect it and find a different VIN, and this person paid the money and the car's taken away and it's returned to this rightful owner 30, 40 years later. But a lot of states have changed, and Kansas was one of them, where the states talk to each other. So they'll do a VIN search when you register a car from out of state, and they'll check to make sure it's not listed as stolen or anything's different in a bunch of different states. So it's not as big of an issue as it used to be. Like I'm from Kansas, and it used to be a thing where you could get around and get some shady title stuff done. And now it's Oklahoma. I think that was still, you were able to do it for a while, but I think they finally closed that stuff up.
What about the car you're driving right now?
Oh, so the Turo rentals. So that's in the fun part, because you could steal.
That sounded too good of a deal. Like it's worrisome to me even. Like when
You think
said
so?
when you said that you rented a Ferrari 488 for 3 days for $800
Yeah.
with a newer account on Turo, and I was like, what?
So I always look for stuff like that on Turo to do reviews on the second channel while we travel, because it makes sense so that I can write off the rental and also make a video and make money and all that stuff. So I tend to look for the deals, and a lot of times when you're new to Turo and you don't have any reviews yet, you set it for a lower price to where you can get the rentals and the positive reviews and all that stuff. And I feel like that's what this is. So it has a temporary tag on it that's expired now by 2 weeks, and they told me at the beginning, hey, we don't have the title yet, so we're still on the expired tags.
That sounds shady, because titles are given so quickly.
In Nevada, I don't know. In Kansas,
in Nevada, what I did, because I accidentally registered one of my cars like on the day it expired, and they just give you a printout immediately. Like as soon as you pay, they say, here's a PDF that you could print out of your current registration and your all your stuff. There you go, and then we'll mail it to you, and it's usually a few days.
Wow. So sometimes
you have a PDF printout.
Well, yeah, I have the registration, so they registered it. So I
Yeah.
have that. It's in there. They just haven't, or they bought it from the dealership. So I have the temporary registration from the dealer they bought it from another state, I think. I don't know what's going on. It's definitely weird. I've done some where I get a Turo and it has, like in California, just the dealer plate on the back and no registration. So it's like one guy was using his dealer inventory on Turo until he sold it, I think. I hope it wasn't stolen. But that's the thing with rentals, where they can steal a car from a dealer lot or something like that. And there was one recently in Arizona that had 20, 30 stolen cars that he was putting out on Turo.
Wow.
And every single one of them was wrapped and just color changed with a wrap or something like that, to where obviously, like, that's my car on Turo. So they would modify it enough to where it didn't look obviously like a stolen car. But obviously, eventually they figured out and broke up a huge theft ring there, which is interesting because usually on the exotic cars, they just take them down to Mexico and the cartel guys drive them around. So it's weird that somebody was actually keeping them in the U.S. and renting them on Turo, because that's more the issue with exotic and stolen cars right now is I need my Bugatti, my G63, my nice car shipped from this place to this place. And you put it out on a dispatch to get picked up on this brokerage called Central Dispatch. And the person that picks it up is a scammer, takes it, hauls it to Mexico. The car never shows up at its destination. And by the time you know something's wrong, it's already gone out of the country. So that's the huge issue right now as far as with car theft is in shipping and dealers selling a car to deliver to a customer, and it disappears somewhere between there, and it ends up in Mexico, and there's a cartel member like posting on Instagram with your Rolls Royce Cullinan that you're supposed to get in Florida. That's a huge epidemic right now.
So I've seen on Facebook these incredible deals on cars, but then in the description it'll say, I don't have a title, but we'll do a bill of sale. And I remember screenshotting this incredible Mercedes EQS, and it was like fully loaded. I think it was even like a 580.
Yeah.
And they wanted like 20 grand for the car.
Yes.
And it was a sketchy guy who like was wearing one of those face mask sort of things where you just see like the slits of the eyes, but then it's like covered like you're skiing almost.
Yeah.
Newer account. What's the scam in that? Like, like you buy the car, but like how does anyone get around that?
With that one, I feel like it's a car, like the EQS was a $110,000 car. I bought one for $34,000 used, depreciated. It's just 3 or 4 years old. The depreciation, unreal. So the people that got stuck owning those cars are so far upside down that they want it to get stolen. They purposely have it stolen. Either that, or a lot of times they will sell the car for as much as they can get with no title, and they're already screwed anyway. So then the car's gone. It's rather than getting it repoed and getting collections there, then obviously they have the car stolen by some different means, and they can collect on insurance that way. With people that have gap insurance, there was the old joke: if you were a car dealer and somebody was way upside down, so they owed 10 or 20 grand more than their car is worth, you'd say, you're not going to get hurt if you drive into a tree at about 30 miles an hour and you aim for the front right of the car. Then it definitely totals it out, and you get insurance, and you have gap insurance that pays the negative equity, and then you can get a new car. So that was one thing where you could advise.
Is that actually people do that?
Ton of that. Yeah. Ton of that. Especially the flood one is the most common. If there is a flooded area, all kind of cars get showed up and parked there so they can get flooded and collect an insurance and get done. And in Florida, it is like a national pastime to like, where's the hurricane going to hit? Let's park it on the street. That is a thing, 1,000%.
Because I've seen photos of these like really nice cars just in the middle of like the water, or like something happens, and I'm usually thinking, oh man, that's unfortunate. So you're saying that they're looking forward to these opportunities.
Yeah. Who street parks their Ferrari on the coast when a hurricane is coming? Like nobody does that.
Here's another one I've seen. People have videoed some of these cars, sports cars, driving through like 3 feet of water.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, oh man, they must be stuck.
Yes.
That could be insurance of like, hey, I don't realize how deep it is. Oh shit, it's 4 feet. The car is kind of ruined. I drive out of this thing. Oh man.
Yep. If you have a Ferrari SF90 that you paid $700,000 for, and you got gap insurance or an agreed value insurance, and there's a flood somewhere, and you're $300,000 upside down, you're going to do it. The most famous one is the Bugatti Veyron that went to the lake. It's like the original viral video. You remember seeing it where the guy said it was a seagull, and then he just happened to be getting filmed by people going, "Oh my God, that's a Bugatti Veyron," and it just splashes into the ocean. It's one of the most famous insurance frauds ever, and this guy went to jail briefly for it because he was just got a little tight on money, and he just wanted to collect insurance on his Bugatti, and happened to be in Florida. I think that it was Galveston, Texas. It was still Florida adjacent, close enough, and this guy just splashed it in there. So it is rampant. It's also frustrating because insurance rates on cars are so high now, and I feel like there's a lot of fraud with that, where that's definitely a factor in why insurance is pretty expensive now.
And really quick, I just want to say that you don't have to overhaul your entire life going into the new year. Sometimes it's as simple as making a few smart swaps, especially with what you're snacking on.
And that's exactly why we are super excited to be sponsored by Masa. They make tortilla chips with real ingredients, so snacking actually feels simple instead of something that's restrictive. And guys, what's actually crazy is that Masa chips are made with just 3 ingredients: organic nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. And that's it. No seed oils, no fillers, just real food.
And the best part is that you don't have to taste compromise. These chips are genuinely phenomenal, and they're nothing like regular chips. They leave you feeling satisfied and energized, not sluggish and heavy. There's no crash, no bloat. You feel great after eating them.
My personal favorite is the barbecue flavor. It's actually like phenomenal, and I made a massive mistake because I had 1 bag left. I was hosting a party. I brought the bag out, and it got eaten in like 2 or 3 minutes. And that was really unfortunate. So I brought out a bag of the original flavored, which also got eaten in like 4 or 5 minutes. And that just goes to show how absolutely delicious these chips are. And I know it sounds ridiculous. And of course, it's a sponsor, so of course I'm going to say this. They really are that good. And because they're made with real ingredients, they're also much more filling. So you're not just going to sit down, eat an entire bag, and then still feel hungry afterwards.
If you want to try Masa Chips, head to masachips.com/iced and use the code ICED to check out for 25% off your first order. Or you could scan the QR code on the screen, and the link is also down below in the description. And if you don't want to order online, Masa is now available nationwide at Sprouts. So make sure to grab a couple of bags the next time you're there.